Hello, Agri learners. Welcome, welcome. This is a supplementary lecture on dairy production. Kasi ito yung napansin kong isa sa mga pinaka-importanteng topic sa animal science. Considering na nung nag-survey ako sa mga takers natin, isa daw yung dairy production dun sa may pinakamaraming katanungan during the exam. Specifically, they've talked about milk composition, lactation, breeding, some sorts of breeding, colostrum, yung konsepto ng mastitis, yan. So, I would suggest na we don't take this lightly and magkaroon tayo ng another structured and enriching lecture about this. Now, some of the concepts that you might hear from dairy production, baka narinig nyo na rin sa ibang mga lessons natin in this course. So that's okay. Ang mahalaga na reiterate ko, naulit ko sa inyo para mas ma-enforce yung knowledge or content na yon sa inyong mga brain cells para pagdating sa exam, familiar na talaga kayo. Now, fun fact, last season, isa sa mga tanong about this topic is ano daw ba yung music that could help cows in the process of milking. Kumbaga, ano daw ba yung dapat pakinggan ng mga baka when they are milking para daw mas maging maayos yung kanilang paggagatas. So, ang sagot dun guys is slow, calming music. Specifically, some sort of classical or soothing music. So according sa pag-aaral, so this is a study by the University of Leicester, okay? Yung mga cows daw that is exposed to slow music, they produce more milk than those that is exposed to fast music. So, pwede, no? Na lumabas yon this season, lumabas ulit this season. So, ang sagot doon, anything that is slow, anything that is calming, and for example, classical music. Okay? So, simulan natin yung discussion natin sa mga major dairy animals in the Philippines. So, in the Philippines, guys, meron lang tayong tatlong major animals na ginagatas. So, that would be dairy cattle, dairy carabao, and your dairy goats. Okay? Now, familiar naman tayo sa mga dairy cattle. Usually, ang breed ng dairy cattle that is very high milk yielding is what? Holstein Friesian. Yan. So, pagdating sa dairy cattle, ang nagpo-provide talaga ng magandang gatas, although Holstein Friesians, they are more on temperate countries. Hindi siya uso masyado dito sa Pilipinas. Pero kapag dairy cattle ang pinag-uusapan, usually ang breed na mataas yung amount na pinoproduce na gatas is yung Holstein Friesian. Now, aside from Holstein Friesian, syempre, nandyan din yung mga breed like Jersey, Brown Swiss, Sahiwal crosses, yan. Sahiwal crosses with Holstein Friesian. So, yan yung mga popular na dairy cattle for milk production. The Philippines, sabi ko nga, hindi masyadong uso ang dairy cattle sa atin. Although, when we do have dairy cattle, usually yung mga local breeds ang ginagamit natin. Now, aside from dairy cattle, meron din mga dairy carabaos. Now, this one is important in the Philippines. Kasi yung mga dairy carabaos natin, they are more adapted to local conditions. So, anong breed? Yung very important na dairy carabao or dairy buffalo, yung breed na Mura. Okay? Mura. So, isipin nyo lang, hindi expensive siya ay mura. Yan, dairy carabao yan. Okay? Now, aside from dairy carabao, of course, meron din tayong mga dairy goats. So, dairy goats naman, ano yung mga breeds that are common na gawing dairy goats? We have Saanen, Anglo-Nubian, Alpine, Toggenburg. So, yan naman yung mga breeds ng goat that is usually used for milk production. Now, dahil meron tayong tatlong major dairy animals in the Philippines, meron bang kaibahan yung kanilang gatas? Itong ating dairy cattle, dairy carabao, at dairy goat? Yes po. No? Yung composition ng gatas ng cattle, carabao, and goat is different from each other. So, tignan natin yung iba't ibang mga basis of comparison. Like for example, yung fat content. So, pagdating sa fat content, ang may pinakamataas talaga na fat content sa kanila is yung gatas po ng ating mura, okay, or carabao or buffalo milk. So, this one has the highest fat content. And dahil mas mataas yung kanyang fat content, you can also say that ito rin yung gatas na pinaka-creamy. Okay? It's the creamiest milk among the three. Yan. Now, cow's milk and goat milk, usually, mas mababa yung fat content nila. Specifically for goat milk, no, mababa yung tinatawag nating, hindi naman mababa, maliliit actually yung tinatawag nating mga fat globules nila, yung goat milk natin. So, yun yung kaibahan ng goat milk naman sa cow and carabao's milk. In terms of total solids, yung percent ng solids na nasa gatas, kasi yung gatas na yun, hindi lang naman yan puro liquid, ano? May mga solid molecule components yung mga yan. So in terms of the solids in the milk, pinakamataas pa rin na solid content ay yung gatas ng baka. And it just makes sense, no? Na mataas ang solid content ng Carabao's milk kasi it is somehow richer, mas rich yung lasa niya, and it's somehow thicker. Whereas yung cow's milk and goat milk, they have a lower total solids. So, ibig sabihin, they are less concentrated than Carabao's milk. Sa protein content, pinakamataas pa rin, of course, yung ating Carabao's milk. So, it has generally the highest protein content among the three. Kaya ginagamit rin siya for cheese production. Ang goat's milk, ginagamit rin po yan. Uso rin po yan gamitin for cheese production. Kasi medyo distinct naman. The reason is not more of its protein content, but more of its distinct taste when it is created as a cheese. How about whiteness? Gaano kaputi yung gatas? Usually, ang cow's milk natin is yellowish. Okay? And the reason that the milk of the cow is yellowish is because of carotene. Sa buffalo or sa Carabao's milk, medyo white siya. Why? Kasi po yung carotene is usually converted to vitamin A. So nawawala yung pigment ng pagka-yellow kasi nga nako-convert into vitamin A. Whereas ang goat milk naman, usually yung gatas ng mga yan is relatively white. In terms of digestibility, kapag ininom mo yung gatas na yan, gaano siya kabigat sa tiyan? Yun yung question dyan. So dahil ang Carabao or buffalo milk has a high fat content, high percentage of total solids, high protein content, yan yung usual na mabigat sa tiyan. So it's not easy to digest. What is easy to digest is actually the goat's milk. Why? Kasi nabanggit ko nga kanina, they have smaller fat globules. Ang cow's milk naman, usually moderate siya. Hindi kasing bigat as Carabao, hindi rin kasing gaan as goat milk. So siya yung nasa gitna. And finally, in terms of flavor, ang pinaka-rich at creamy yung flavor sa kanila is the Carabao's milk. Ang pinaka-familiar sa atin is the cow's milk. And yung pinaka-distinct or pinaka-unique, kasi hindi rin siya ganun karami, is the goat milk. Okay? So yan yung differences ng mga gatas ng cattle, carabao, and goat. Now sa dairy production, mahalaga na para maging successful ang production ng dairy, tinitignan natin yung characteristic ng isang hayop for good dairy production. So ano ba yung characteristics? of a good dairy animal. So unang-una, mga ka-agri learners, a good dairy animal has a wedge-shaped body. Ibig sabihin, sa unahan, sa front part ng kanyang katawan, medyo narrow, and then on the rear part, sa likuran, nagiging wider and wider. So, this body form suggests na yung ating hayop is built for milk production. No, mahalaga rin na tinitignan natin yung kanyang udder. Okay? So, udder, yung kanyang sa atin, yung kanyang suso, ano? Now, yung udder should be large. Okay? So, it makes sense. Kasi for dairy production nga. So, dapat malaki yan. Bakit kailangang malaki? Because a larger udder means greater milk holding capacity. Okay? Now, aside though from being large, dapat makita natin na healthy rin siya. Okay? It's not enough that it is only big, but it should be healthy and it should be properly touched. Ibig sabihin, hindi saging. Okay? Hindi nagsasag. Usually, dapat well-attached yan dun sa katawan. It is well-supported. Kasi kapag well-attached and well-supported yan, it means the udder can last longer. Alright? Next, pagdating sa teats, okay, yung parang yung nipple, ano? So the teats should be normal in size and placement. Right? And dapat yung teats natin, hindi siya abnormal, dapat siya ay functional. Ibig sabihin, madaling maggatas doon, okay? And walang any problems. Okay? So dapat madaling gatasin, normal number, normal size. The animal should also have a strong feet and legs. Kasi, tandaan nyo, ang gatas, dagdag po yan sa weight ng hayop. And gusto natin yung ating hayop is able to walk, stand, and feed properly. So, sa kabuuan, ang pagkakaroon ng strong feet and legs indicates the healthiness of the animal. And we want the animal to be healthy pagdating sa milk production. Alright? Why? Because we want the animal to have, yung last point, good appetite. Nakakain dapat siya ng maayos. With a well-balanced diet, taking in water, enough water, yan, hindi dapat siya papatay-patay, dapat medyo active siya, right? Kasi yung mga nakokonsume niya na pagkain, yun ay ginagamit, tinatransform ng katawan niya yun bilang gatas. And finally, the animal should have a dairy temperament. So ano ibig sabihin ng temperament na good for milk production? Una, dapat yung animal is docile. Dapat hindi siya masyadong nervyoso. Ayaw mo na lumalapit ka pa lang doon sa hayop, abay nininervyos na siya, baka takbuhan ka. You want the animal na docile. Okay, kalmado lang. Para kapag lumapit ka, ginagatasan mo siya, hindi siya nervyoso, hindi siya nininervyos, so hindi siya nai-stress. So isa 'yon. It should be active, it should be alert, kasi nga kailangan na yung hayop natin hindi siya papatay-patay. Kasi we want an animal who is active, kumbaga, good yung kanyang appetite, nakakapaglakad-lakad siya sa farm, so less stress sa kanya para mas maayos yung production ng kanyang gatas. Okay? Now, isa siguro let's go on to the technicalities ng dairy production. Isa sigurong pinaka-importanteng maintindihan natin is yung tinatawag nating milk letdown process. So, paano ba lumalabas yung gatas doon sa hayop? And dagdag bonus in terms of technicalities, pag-uusapan natin yung hormone na involved in the milk letdown process. So ito po yung simple flow ng proseso kung paano lumalabas yung gatas sa hayop. Okay? And this process, we call this as your milk letdown reflex. Now, ang milk letdown reflex natin ng hayop is a neurohormonal reflex. Okay? Neurohormonal reflex. What does that mean? meron pong stimuli na galing sa external environment, and then merong hormone na involved, and then yung hormone na yon sends a message to the brain to let the milk down. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng neurohormonal reflex. So saan magsisimula? Magsisimula yan sa reflex, doon sa outside, magsisimula yan doon sa outside stimuli. So, ano yung outside stimulus para lumabas yung gatas? Ang tawag natin doon sa outside stimulus para lumabas yung gatas is suckling or milking stimulus. Okay? So, when the offspring begins suckling, nai-stimulate na ngayon yung teat. Or, kapag hinawakan natin yung teat, or the farmer milk, or milk the dairy animal, or a machine milk the dairy animal, nagpo-provide yan ng stimulus doon sa teats ng hayop. And when the teat is stimulated, right? When the teat is stimulated, nerve impulses goes into the brain. May impulse, may signal na pupunta doon sa brain. And ano yung signal na pinoprovide? Yung brain, kailangan niyang mag-release ng oxytocin. Right? Now, itong oxytocin na to, yan yung hormone that is involved in the milk letdown process. So, pag tinanong kayo sa exam, ano yung hormone na involved para lumabas ang gatas? Ang sagot po, oxytocin. So, madalas kasi ang oxytocin, nako-confuse yan sa prolactin. Now, ang prolactin ay isang hormone din. Pero ang prolactin, hindi siya responsible sa milk letdown. But rather, prolactin is responsible in milk production. Right? So, ang ginagawa ng prolactin is to signal yung mga cells that produces milk para magawa yung gatas. So, it produces the milk, pero yung oxytocin, siya yung nagre-release ng gatas. Dapat malinaw yon. Okay? Now, once oxytocin is released, ito na tayo sa stage na to. Okay? It now travels to the bloodstream of the animal. And pupunta ngayon yan doon sa myoepithelial cells, doon sa udder, sa suso. And what will happen now is yung muscles na nandoon ay magko-contract. Once it contracts, the milk is pushed from the alveoli to the teats of the animal. And, syempre, kapag na-push na dun sa teats ng hayop, then milk comes out. So, I hope this process is clear sa atin. Okay? So, medyo technical to, pero tingin ko, isa sa mga pinaka-importante na kailangan yung ma-memorize is this one. Okay? And, yeah, basically, yung milk letdown hormone, which is oxytocin. Again, dapat alam niyo yung difference sa oxytocin at prolactin. Simple lang naman. Pag sinabi natin prolactin, it is more on the production of milk, and oxytocin naman is more in the release of milk. Pagdating sa gatas, isa sa mga importanteng usapin or tanong siguro is, Sir, naggagatas ba yung hayop kahit walang anak? Siyempre hindi, ano? Para maggatas yung ating mga dairy animals, dapat meron silang anak. Okay? Kasi ang purpose naman talaga ng gatas ay para i-feed yung kanilang mga babies. Alright? And, in fact, isa sa mga unang gatas na lumalabas doon sa katawan ng ina is what we call as colostrum. This is the first milk produced immediately after parturition or after birth. Now, ano ba itong colostrum na to? Ito ay klase ng gatas, you can think about it that way, that is thicker and richer than normal milk. Pero, ang kagandahan sa colostrum, ito po ay saksakan. Ito po ay may sandamakmak na nutrients. So, anong klaseng nutrients? May sandamakmak na protein, energy, vitamins, and minerals. Pero yung pinaka-importanting component siguro ng colostrum ay yung tinatawag po nating immunoglobulins. Right? Immunoglobulins. Ano ang immunoglobulins? Yan ay content ng colostrum that carries immunity, okay? Or that provides immunity to the young. Okay? So kapag tinanong kayo sa exam kung ano yung mismong component ng colostrum na nagpo-provide ng immunity doon sa ating young or protection against sickness sa ating young, ang sagot po ay mali yung spelling ko, immunoglobulins. Okay? Immuno, dapat meron diyang NO. Okay? Pero don't worry, sa notes ko, nandun naman yung spelling ng immunoglobulins. And I will provide the notes, of course, sa inyo. Kasi nga, nag-enroll kayo sa Learning Agri with Al. So, kasama na yung notes. Yan. Okay? Now, ano yung pinoprovide ng immunoglobulins? Okay, nagpo-provide siya, sabi ko, yung tinatawag nating immunity. And immunoglobulins, by the way, guys, is a type of antibody. So, you have to understand, guys, kapag bagong panganak pa lang yung ating dairy animal, medyo immature and mahina yung immune system niyan. Ano yung immune system? Yan yung system that protects the animal from diseases. Right? And gusto natin magkaroon ng early protection. Kumbaga, quote-unquote, bakuna yung ating early animal. So, ano yung pinakaunang bakuna? Yung immunoglobulin. Okay? In fact, yung mga hayop daw, specifically yung mga calves, na hindi nakakapag-take ng immunoglobulin or colostrum, for that matter, is 3 to 9 times more likely to get sick before weaning. Right? So kapag hindi sila nag-take ng colostrum, mas nagkakasakit daw sila. Mas mataas yung frequency na sila yung magkakasakit. And 5 times, they are more likely to die before weaning. Mas madali pa daw silang mamatay. So very, very important na itong mga young natin ay pinapatake natin ng colostrum as early as possible. So ano yung as early as possible? Farmer's practice is at least within the first 6 hours after parturition or after birth. Okay? So yan yung pinaka ideal. Right? Now, for other references, ang recommend nila is around 3 liters of high-quality colostrum within 6 hours. Tapos, another second feeding at around 8 to 12 hours. So, very important ito para ma-make sure na hindi magkakasakit yung calf, para ma-make sure na ito ay mag-survive. Na itong colostrum na to, binibenta ba yan? I mean, pinapak ba yan as milk and binibenta sa supermarket? Hindi po. Okay? Ang colostrum na yan ay pang anak ng hayop. Hindi po yan pang tao. Alright? Now, after the colostrum is over, kasi matatapos yan. Hindi naman yan Hindi naman yan forever, hindi yan unlimited. Kasi nga ang colostrum is the first milk. Hindi naman yan sinabing first and last milk. So kapag naubos yan, yung succeeding na harvest ng milk, yun yung ibinibenta sa supermarket. Now, on the next slide, let's talk about yung lactation and dry period of our dairy animals. So usually, yung mga nasa references natin, kapag dairy cattle ang pinag-uusapan, ang lactation length niyan is around 305 days on average. And ang common dry period is around 45 to 60 days. Now, ano ba yung lactation length? Okay. Sa pagre-review natin, mainam rin po na tayo ay nakafocus doon sa mga topics na alam natin lalabas sa exam. Kaya naman, ini-introduce ko sa inyo ang Learning Agri with Al. So, ang Learning Agri with Al is a booster course. It can be your review material
that is 100% related doon sa ating table of specifications na inilabas ng PRC, okay? Or yung organization that handles the board exam for agriculturists 2 years ago. So hanggang ngayon, yun pa rin naman ang ginagamit natin. Yung same na TOS pa rin naman yung ginagamit natin, yung ginagamit nila when generating the questions in the exam. So dapat maging focused, maging organized yung pagre-review natin when preparing for LEA. Kaya naman itong Learning Agri with Al, ginawa for that specific purpose. You are ensured that the topics being discussed here are all aligned in the table of specifications. So they are selective, they are focused, they are narrow, and more importantly, they are structured. So ang Learning Agri with Al, naka-structure yan per module, per lessons, and each lesson may mga quizzes pa dyan to make sure na mamamaster nyo talaga yung mga different topics sa LEA. So ito po yung inclusions natin. If you want to take a screenshot on those, so we have TOS-based structured lectures and notes. Meron tayong premium video lecture library, exclusive na hindi nyo makikita sa kahit na anong YouTube or internet sources. Meron kang handouts that is also based from those lectures. May mga quizzes ka, may mga flashcards ka, digital flashcards para hindi masyadong bulky kapag dinadala. And most importantly, starting July, meron kayong online sessions, online review coaching sessions with me. And ito yung pricing tier natin. Since today is March, ang presyo na po is 1,399. So wag nyo na pong hintayin na mag-April pa kasi sa April magja-jump na siya sa 1,599. So ano pang hinihintay nyo guys? Enroll na sa Learning Agri with Al kasi napakaganda ng reviews, napakaganda ng nakuha nating feedback from fellow agriculturists na ngayon last season. Tingnan nyo naman, no, meron pa tayong nakasama na naging top-notcher. So go ahead, visit my Facebook page para makita itong mga reviews na to. And kung nagtataka pa kayo, kung kayo magre-review or hindi, gusto niyo pang pakiramdaman, I would suggest manood kayo ng videos ko sa YouTube here at Learning Agri with Al.